Now, the beach assault is going to be happening very, very shortly, and there is plenty to look forward to.
Good morning all. Yes, it's going to be another fantastic day here at Bournemouth with the Royal Navy and Royal Marines showing us what we do every day around the world on your behalf.
Okay, now I'm just going to walk this way. We'll sort of do a loop round so you can see what's behind us, because these are ready to go. And while I refer to them as these, I think Cliff should probably tell you what they are.
Well, these are Viking. These are a uniquely Royal Marine piece of kit. They are a go-anywhere vehicle for the UK's go-anywhere force. And you're going to see something really quite extraordinary from them later.
Okay, now I'm just going to leave Cliff for just 1 second. So just if you are watching at home, you can see how big the crowds really are here. So it's a fantastic day. The sun is shining. Everybody is very, very excited for the beach assault. And I'm making poor old Barney, who is doing the countdown here, I'm making him walk around in circles, which I'm sure he's absolutely loving right now. Now, Cliff, what can we expect?
Well, we've tried to show you a sort of anti-piracy operation. The Joint Expeditionary Force, brackets Maritime, JEF-M as we call it, I know how the military love our acronyms, is deployed somewhere in the world and looking to react to a piracy action. I don't want to spoil too much. It'll unfurl before our eyes very shortly.
Right, okay, so I was on the ship, the RFA Argus out there yesterday, and there was a helicopter over there, so I believe that's part of the excitement.
That's right. The Argus is playing the command platform, so she's a massively capable ship, and she's got a Merlin Mark III from 846 Naval Air Squadron with a local boy flying it, Lieutenant Commander Bagsy Baker, so we'll definitely be playing them into this scenario shortly.
Right, so me and Bryn have a question for you, because we believe that your names are not real, and we believe that as you enter into the Army or the Navy, you go through a name-changing process where you get amazing names. How did you end up with Cliff Dett, and what was his name? Who's flying?
Bagsy Baker, so there we go, a local boy, so even better.
Don't believe it's his name. Right, we've got 20 seconds till the aeroplanes are coming. If you are watching us and you want to use the hashtags, it is hashtag BMTHAirfest. Right, in the distance the aeroplanes are coming, so I will hand you over to Cliff, who can talk through what's happening.
Well, thank you very much, Kerry. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beach here at Bournemouth, and here we have the two Hawks who overfly from 846, and they are simulating a pass-by, a little bit of a bit of reconnaissance over on the beach, looking in for potential pirate activity. So all is quite peaceful at the moment, and I'd just like to sort of maybe set the scene from the maritime perspective. The beauty of the Joint Expeditionary Force is, of course, it can be tailored. It's scalable. All aspects of amphibious operations are rheostatic, so they can go from the hard knock, from war fighting, through humanitarian aid, peace support. They can do host nation support, really anything at all. And this is something that your Royal Navy does that no other armed forces are capable of doing. And that ability to switch to war fighting from humanitarian operations is something that we're going to look to show you today, because the men and women of the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines do a lot of work building capacity in host nations around the world. And this is an essential part of our government's conflict prevention agenda to ensure that we try and stop wars and conflicts before they happen, significantly cheaper. So the Hawks come round again. These are the fast jets that the Navy have. They are providing some essential training, but also keeping single-seat jet flying alive in the Royal Navy before the F-35 Lightning arrives for our new carriers, the Queen Elizabeth and the Prince of Wales. The Queen Elizabeth arrived in Portsmouth only a couple of weeks ago, and she's the largest ship that the Royal Navy's ever had, and really is a step change in capability. The Royal Navy is able to project power globally and really reinstates us as a serious player on the world stage. So the second pass is relatively peacefully goes by as we'll look to sort of hot things up. But I'm going to set the scene a little bit down on the ground, and the two pirate encampments you can see here, there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief for you in that the pirate encampment nearest to us is going to remain camouflaged for the first part of this operation. So imagine that the Royal Marines on the ground aren't able to see it, so that we can see the display unfurl. The Vikings, I said earlier, are a go-anywhere vehicle. They actually put less pressure down than a man of Barney's size in stiletto heels, which you can see on most Saturday nights, actually, but that's another matter entirely. So they really are able to exert very little weight and pressure on the earth, and they are able to cover more or less any ground. So it's all peaceful here, and what we're not showing you, of course, is what goes on in the background of an operation like this. So the RFA Argus, she's an RFA, as Kiri said, not a HMS. She's part of the Royal Fleet Auxiliary. They are the grocers of the Royal Navy. They follow the Royal Navy and Royal Marines around the world with beans and bullets and ammunition and oil, and she is double rolled, if you like, or triple rolled if you take into account the sort of command platform role that she's playing for us today. She's an aviation training ship and has been very busy over the last 2 weeks with Fleet Air Arm and Royal Air Force helicopters pounding her decks to get pilots deck landing trained and qualified. But she's also a primary casualty receiving station. PCRF, another one of those awful acronyms, so apologies there. She's absolutely not a hospital ship. Hospital ships are protected under the Geneva Convention, and once you've set foot on a hospital ship, you are not able to return to the front line. But a PCRF, like the Argus, is able to patch you up and return you to the fore. So here we go. We now have the Merlin sat on the stern on the flight deck, and she will be ready to be called in by those Hawks very, very shortly.
So a Charlie game.
Merlin 1, this is Satan, Hawk lead. We're being engaged by small arm and RPG from enemy camp. Chris Viking and Merlin investigate.
So there you have it. The Hawks have been engaged, they've turned away, and they will call that Mark III Merlin up to have a look into the beach. There's a maritime sniper capability today. Petty Officer Pete Rose is the maritime sniper on board, and he will be looking through his optics to try and find out a little bit more about this pirate encampment. So if we look out to sea, there she goes. She's lifted up now, and Lieutenant Commander Bagsy Baker, Ferndown boy, back here at his hometown. And I imagine if you were at school with him and you turned him down, you're now thinking, goodness me, he's turned out to be a helicopter pilot in the Royal Navy. What have I done? But anyway, here he is. He's flying towards the beach, and you'll see the pirates, no doubt, open fire or potentially run away, and we'll be able to move on to the next phase of this operation. Just as the Merlin is starting to come towards the beach, just turning back to the Queen Elizabeth. I mean, I was at Portsmouth when she came in, and, you know, to glibly say she's the largest ship the Royal Navy has ever had, you know, from the top of her mast to the bottom of her keel, she's some 4 meters bigger than Niagara Falls. She really is an absolutely fantastic, amazingly capable platform that is going to be a step change for the Royal Navy. So here comes that Merlin Mark III. They're soon to be replaced by the fully marinized Mark IVs as she flies along the beach and is now coming under fire by the pirates. I think one of the nicest things about coming to Bournemouth every year for the whole naval service is that you have regular and reserve side by side men and women from the Royal Navy, the Fleet Air Arm, the Royal Marines, and of course the Royal Fleet Auxiliary. And we're trying to show you what your Royal Navy is doing every day somewhere in the world, forward deployed and protecting our nation's interests. And certainly for everybody from the naval service, it's wonderful to meet the general public who we serve, the general public who we recruit from, and we're able to show you perhaps a little bit of what we do on an everyday basis somewhere in the world. So back comes that Merlin, and you can just start to feel that things are starting to hot up a little bit here on the beach. So that maritime sniper capability is something that the Royal Marines have honed over the last 15 or 20 years and is an absolutely essential part of any anti-piracy or operation of this nature, where you have takedowns from that sniper in the helicopter.
Enemy requesting close air support. Fire mission, position grids, Sierra Zulu 104905, enemy open.
So there you go, you have the Merlin. They've called in fire from the two Hawks. There's absolutely no messing around here. The rear stat has been turned from a sort of gentle look-see and an air OP into that hard knock we talked about earlier, and you'll see the two Hawks configuring themselves for a strike on the heart of the pirate encampment. At the same time, the Vikings will have been landed some miles down or up or down the coast and will be looking to come in to put the Royal Marines out the back to ensure that the pirates really have their day well and truly spoiled. I'm being slightly light-hearted, but one of the things that we have honed over the last sort of 10-15 years with the Iraq and Afghanistan experiences is the need to exploit wherever possible. And in the latter days of Afghanistan, the areas where there was a contact or an IED explosion effectively became crime scenes. And what you'll see today is the guys, whilst they're conducting sort of classic commando style, small-scale intervention raiding, they will also be searching the pirate encampment, searching the pirates to find anything that we can exploit, because conflict prevention is really what we're about here. This is not about picking a fight. This is not about war fighting. That is the last resort and something that we do very well, but only when everything else has been exhausted. So the Commodore on board the RFA Argus will be looking for anything that he can exploit to avoid this type of operation in the future. So we're waiting for those Hawks to come back, and they will be ready with that strike, and the call is 30 seconds to go. So in that cockpit, the two pilots, again an interesting example of the way that the modern Royal Navy does a business. You have a regular pilot and a reservist pilot flying alongside each other, and you'd never know the difference, and that is the beauty of the maritime reserves, that everybody just slots in and does their job alongside their regular counterparts. So here they come. So the rounds come onto the beach, and that cues the arrival of the Vikings. Coming alongside those three Vikings, the first one will take up a position on the berm to provide fire support, with Vikings 2 and 3 containing the section of Royal Marines ready to assault through the position. As they run down the surf line, you'll hear that the rate of fire building. At the most tense moment is when those Royal Marines debus out the back, form themselves into a baseline and start fire and manoeuvring forward. You'll see the two screech to a halt, and out the back they'll come in just a few seconds. This vehicle, of course, has proven itself over 10 or 15 years in Afghanistan and other areas. It is fully able to swim. It could, if we had all the right kit, it could swim back out to the Argus from here, and is absolutely perfect for this type of operation. So out they come. The section commander has his guys alongside, and they're looking to move forward. So each fire team moves protected by covering fire from the other fire team as they look to close on that position. All the while overflying, we have the maritime sniper and the Hawks. The maritime sniper on the Merlin is looking inland, ensuring that this is not a come on and there's an ambush of a much stronger force somewhere else, and so that the guys on the ground can get on and do their job. So they're getting close now as they start to move forward. You'll see them break down into pairs, potentially, or maybe not actually, as the pirates all appear to be finished. So you'll see them push on, maybe a what we call a tactical bound, 5 or 10 meters beyond the pirate position, ready to exploit. But no, they can't. The second pirate position has now opened up, and you'll see the Viking has changed its arcs and is now providing suppressing fire to keep the pirates' fire down as the guys leave that first position. All thoughts of exploiting any potential J2, any potential intelligence momentarily put down as they deal with the threat in front of them as they come through. You'll see the other Viking is moving in line with the troops. This is to ensure that his covering fire is in the direction of the pirates and not towards our guys. The risk of fratricide or a blue on blue is very prevalent in the commander's mind, and they will ensure that that Viking is always just that little bit ahead of the forward troop. So you see the guys looking to reorg. They'll go into all-round defence around this position. Here they come, and you'll see them interlocking. The little tap on the shoulder. We don't leave anybody behind. Why are we doing that in broad daylight? Well, we practice it and we do it the same whether it's night or day. You can imagine if this was a pitch black night, it'd be very hard to know that your mate has moved unless he gives you that kick or the little tap on the shoulder. Into all-round defence, and what they're thinking about now is, yes, exploiting, yes, looking for any information, but also looking for the next threat. They've already had a surprise second position. They've no idea whether there's anything more. Now, we all know it's just ice creams and you guys watching us, but for the purposes of today, they really don't. So there we go, checking, no booby traps under him. Nice to see him looking after him quite so carefully. And a little pat down there to see if there's anything there. All clear and nothing. Enemy dead and no laptops, papers or anything else to for them to exploit.
Hello, Zero, this is Merlin. Enemy has been engaged. Camp destroyed. Threat eliminated.
So there we go, passing the message back to the Argus, back to that command and control platform. And what we haven't shown you, and of course we really can't, is the amount of time that planning an operation like this takes. So the whole force has been configured and tailored for the threat that we've encountered today, and this has involved, you know, a long time planning, so that when things do go slightly out of shape, as we showed with that second pirate position, the guys are able to react because they've planned for every eventuality. You now see the guys moving back. They're coming back through that first position, and the idea is they will then get themselves back into the Vikings, rebus-in the Vikings, and get themselves configured and on to the next tasking. Just a quick check of the enemy in that first position before they move back to the vehicles. In reality, whilst, you know, I know that you understand this is a little bit of a piece of theatre, a lot of the tactics and techniques that the guys are doing today are absolutely as we would do for real. And the integration with the aviation, the helicopters and the air, the fast air, is something that we practice so that when we have to do it, it is absolutely seamless. And, you know, the air dimension that an operation like this has is an essential part of that JFM capability, so that you can tailor to the threat, as I said to you, I suspect more or less repeatedly all the way through this afternoon. So the Merlin comes back through, and you can probably see Petty Officer Pete Rose in the back there, still ready to pick up any additional targets as the sniper capability in the rear.
Hello, Zero, this is Merlin. Casualty seen in the water. Conducting recovery now.
Oh, there we go. I didn't expect that. The concurrency of these operations is being shown by a casualty being spotted in the water, and you will see the Merlin look to come behind the casualty, drop his air crewman again, the unlucky PO Pete Rose, in order to pick them up. At the same time, the Vikings have been reconfigured. The guys are getting in the back. The pirates are finished, and it is time for the Vikings to move off. And you'll see very shortly, if you look at that Merlin, you'll see that rope come out, and he'll see, I suspect, if he can pick up one of those paddle boarders and take him back to Argus. So here they come, the Vikings of the Royal Marines from Bovington, ready to do a little lap of honour, ladies and gents, to give you a flavour of the Naval Service on operations. I'm sure you want to join me in thanking the guys, so please give them a bit of a warm clap and a wave as they come through. Let's hope he doesn't drive over the Pirates. No, he's seen them. That's a bit of a relief. And through he goes. And if you look out to the Merlin, you can see there is the unlucky Pete Rose being dangled beneath, as he will be picking up that casualty and taking them back to the Argus. Here comes Viking number 2. A big wave, please, ladies and gentlemen, as they come through the surf for the last time, and they'll do one more fly past. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your Royal Navy, your Royal Marines, your Fleet Air Arm, your Royal Fleet Auxiliary, we do this on behalf of you every day around the world, throughout the year, and it's an absolute privilege for us to be back here at Bournemouth, showing you a little bit of what we do. And I suppose it wouldn't be fair to conclude without saying that if this is a life for you, then we have all our recruiters down here in the Navy Village who are ready to talk to you and tell you about a career in the regulars, or of course the reserves. We have our Commodore Martin Quinn, Commander of Maritime Reserves, here today as well, and we're all very happy to talk to any potentially interested men or women as the last Viking leaves the stage. And there is the Merlin dipping the crewman as our display draws to a close on a beautiful sunny day here at Bournemouth, as he's winched back in, and the guys will reconfigure, flying back to pool, and that will conclude our display. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Lieutenant Colonel Cliff Dare. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope you've enjoyed yourself. So, Kerry, what did you think of that?
Pretty impressive stuff. Now, I believe Bryn's been watching up there as well, so, well, that was a bit of a force to be reckoned with, wasn't it? Well,
we've done something a little bit different today. We wanted to show that it's not always about coming across the beach, so we didn't have landing craft. We used the Viking and we used those 2 air assets, and it's a little bit different, and I hope you liked it.